everyone, my name is Ines Mathlouthi. I'm from Tunisia and I am part of the Tunisian Scout. And today I'm gonna be presenting how Tunisian Scouts is in the service of preserving and promoting cultural heritage. Well, to answer the question of how can Tunisian Scouts help to promote or work to promote and preserve national heritage, then the answer is in the 80s. Tunisian Scouts worked on this since the 80s. And remembering that the Tunisian Scouts organization is the largest youth movement in Tunisia, with 60,000 members from 24 regions. So all over the country, we have scouts all over the country, in every district, in every village, in every small village, we have scouts. So we are everywhere and we can cover all over Tunisia. And it is considered as a civil movement that provides informal education and promotes national identity through its programs, interventions, and various partnerships. And since the 80s, the Tunisian Scouts organization welcomed a new set of leaders that are teachers and professors with different educational backgrounds, of course, but mainly history and science. So the Tunisian Scouts, in order to be able to work on preserving and protecting the national heritage, had to forge a long-term partnership with Institute of National Heritage, which is the official institute that took care of preserving and protecting the national heritage, and as referred to it in French as INP. So this partnership works for creating a bond between youth and their heritage, of course tangible and intangible, through excavation camps or merit badges. And the merit badges are a rewarding process for all scouts after filling in tasks during the excavation camps. Of course, these tasks had to do with tangible and intangible heritage, whether about the site, the monuments, or traditions used in history. So these initiatives pushed the newly formed Tunisian government back then to encourage the scouting movement to educate younger generations on the importance of preserving archaeological monuments and sites. So moving on to the excavation activities done by the Tunisian Scouts during the 80s. So, of course, overseen by the INP, the Tunisian Scouts conducted over 500 excavation and cleaning activities in major sites in the country, specifically sites that are under threats either by nature, like the higher sea levels or erosion, or by human excessive activities like constructions and urban development. For example, like what's happening in Carthage city or the Punic harbor. It is been threatened by human presence, buildings, roads, including nature, of course, by the sea, the high level of the sea. So Carthage city is under threat. And the excavations camp were such an inspiration that it motivated a 15-year-old boy named Muaz Ashur, inspired him to become an archaeologist, even though it was not a career choice for the majority of Tunisian parents. But the good news is Muaz Ashur is now the conservator of Carthage historic site. So these camps have a positive impact on the scouts. So this is a clear view of the impact and the influence of these excavation camps, and going down to these sites and working on them and cleaning them and feeling the rocks and seeing the history moving on. So this is Muaz Ashur as a scout in Carthage in 1980. So this is a picture I took from him. He was very excited and he was really thankful to be part of these camps. And he told me that the moment he entered the site, he knew that it was home like he was born to be an archaeologist, period. So he knew what to do in the future the moment he held a brush and started clearing sand over a rock. So to him it was not a rock, it was a history, it was home, it was him. And so he studied archaeological cartography and studied Carthage site in details, and he was later promoted to be the conservator of the site. So that's why the work of the scouts is very important, because it gives hopes, inspirations, and a clear view of the future of these youth. This is Muaz Ashur when he's a grown-up, and here he's showing Carthage city plan. He once worked on two pupils of a school trip, and he's showing them where the city is located, the major monuments that can be seen in the field visit, and he told them, this is where we all started. So he's very proud of being part of this archaeological site, and to him it's home. And as he said before, scout movement and being part of the scout gave him a clear view of the good thing he could do to promote and preserve national heritage. What is better to do that than being an archaeologist or a conservative of this major site. So for the Tunisian scouts, the question of how to preserve and protect and promote national heritage has been always present, and the scouts are always looking for a way to do that in a better way. So I'm going to present to you the Tunisian Scouts' newest project called TOURATH. So this project is the result of a partnership between the US Embassy in Tunis and the Tunisian Scouts since 2021 until 2024. So this project is the follow-up of all the efforts exhibited by the Scouts for the past 3 decades in the matter of preserving national heritage and promoting it for more than 3 generations of young men and women. So through this project, Scouts of different ages and backgrounds, of course ethnic and cultural, worked unitedly towards preserving this rich and multiverse heritage dating back thousands of years ago. So through this project, I'm going to show you how can we do this better, more efficiently, and create positive impact into the communities. So the project TOURATH is divided into 4 major components. So the first component, and because we believe that excavation camps are very important to promoting all actions of preservation or protection of the national heritage. And as you can see the results with Muaz Ashur and countless others. So the first component and the most important components in this project is the excavation camps. So we target to have more than 1,200 volunteers being part of these camps all over the country. Of course, Tunisia is very rich with these sites, monuments. You can find them everywhere from north to south. And obviously the focus will be on sites under threat by nature or by human excessive activities, and we've been granted some sites from the INP and the Agency of Promoting National Heritage that we're going to talk about later on. And moving on to the exhibitions, which is the second component. So we have various regional exhibitions in 24 regions. We will be valorizing the Tunisian cultural heritage and focusing on 14,000 non-scouts. So the target are non-scouts, and the exhibition will contain historical games, maps, plays, videos, portraits of historical figures, and we will try to engage more and more people into this, and give them a chance to get to know their own heritage. Third component will be the dialogue sessions. So dialogue sessions, we targeted 50 major universities across the country, because we believe that through dialogue we can change the world, and this is something that the Scouts believe in and implement every time they have projects or activities. So through these dialogue sessions, we will be encouraging these students to advocate for heritage, advocate for the promotion of heritage, and advocate for the protection of national heritage in their own communities, with different citizens of different backgrounds, and try to make a difference. And last but not least, we have the merit badges, or the merit badges of heritage. So the merit badges of archaeology or heritage are a reward for Scout volunteers in all regions. That could be in excavation camps, in exhibitions, or dialogue sessions. So they will get them after filling in some requirements or tasks during these activities. For example, when they are in Carthage city, they need to know when it was built, they need to have a presentation about it, they need to talk about the different traditions and customs used by ancient Carthaginians, and so on and so on. So this is like a motivation for them to dig deeper, to know more about their heritage than meets the eye. So the question is, why is it important to involve youth in excavation for Scouts? So Tunisian Scouts has more than 60,000 active members, and 30,000 are young Scouts. They have the proper training to involve members of their communities. The training is about advocacy, about debate, about dialogue, so they can use this training to involve these members and engage them into this quest. So residents, students, other volunteers, school children, local history organizations, or civil society can be involved in preserving the endangered sites. Therefore, being part of an excavation camp, even for once, will get them to ensure sites and monuments are understood, cared for, and celebrated by the Scouts and their communities with the knowledge, skills, and opportunities needed to manage and enjoy them. So during the excavation camps and after the excavation camps, they will have this opportunity to engage everybody into the protection process of these monuments and enjoy them, of course. So they will help to advance understanding of the importance of archaeology in preserving their unique heritage. And this is part because, like I said before, for Mazda Ashur, it was not a career choice for parents. So when someone would say, I want to be an archaeologist, they will say, this is a dead-end profession, there is no hope for it, why would you do that? But if you show them why archaeology is important into preserving your national heritage, then we will change this idea, and we will encourage parents to push their children to be archaeologists and in this field, of course. And we will encourage more people to access and learn about, become involved in, and make decisions on their national heritage. And this is part of the civil society organizations that could be in a partnership with the Scouts, working on local national heritage, and try to help the official offices of the Ministry of Cultural Affairs or of the INP. So I'm going to talk about one of the first excavation camps established or done by the TOURATH Project. So thanks to the partnership between Tunisian Scouts and the INP and the Agency for the Development of Heritage and Cultural Promotion, and of course the successful excavation activities in the past, so TOURATH Project was granted full access to 14 major sites in the country, from north to the south that are considered under threat by the Ministry of Cultural Affairs and some international organizations. So we started the first camp in Udna site in May 2022 in Benarouz, and Udna is the contemporary name of the ancient Uthina, located 30 kilometers south of Tunis. So Udna was founded at the end of the 1st century BC, and then it became a new colony of the Roman Empire, created and inhabited by veterans of the 13th Roman Legion under the reign of Emperor Augustus. Here in the picture you can see scouts standing, scouts having brushes and cleaning dirt in a square inside the camp. So this camp was actually in cooperation between the Tunisian scouts and Libyan scouts, of course, and ASOR, as part of the Suitcase Museum project implemented in Libya. So the Tunisian scout got trained by the Libyan scouts or Libyan archaeologists who came with the scouts for one day, and then we took it to Udna to implement what they learned during the training. So 100 Tunisian scouts joined the camp along with Libyan archaeologists, ASOR and other guests from Tunisia. And of course the US ambassador of Libya was present and accompanied by officials from the INP and AMVPPC, which is the agency for promoting like national heritage. So the chairman of the Tunisian Scouts was also present at this camp, as he was part of the 80s camp when he was a young rover. So this was a pleasant experience for him to go back to the brush and go back to dirt and go back to exploring his own heritage. And of course, during the camp, the Tunisian scouts presented the dialogue sessions to the Libyan scouts and explained what it does and how it could help promote and preserve national heritage both in Libya and Tunisia. And of course, the dialogue sessions are one of the 4 components of TOURATH Project. And scouting movement is based on dialogue, of course, advocacy and debate. Therefore, we decided that dialogue sessions are also important to include in the project. So over 5 years, more than 1,000 scouts received training in dialogue from projects within the Tunisian Scout called Ambassadors for Dialogue. And basically, Ambassadors for Dialogue is about training scouts and non-scouts to be skilled in dialogue, so techniques of dialogue and how to resolve conflicts without violence, and how to try to convince the other with your idea, and how to be an open space for all thoughts and ideas. And so TOURATH Project used the skills of these trained dialogue conductors and used them of course, along with the regional coordinates of the project, into conducting dialogue sessions about heritage, targeting 50 universities and 6,000 students. So these sessions will encourage the student into advocating for their unique heritage in their own communities and help local community relate to the past, because unfortunately with what's happening in Tunisia with social, economical and political issues and problems, sometimes the people forget where they came from, forget that this monument or this site is very important and you need to preserve it for the next generation. So dialogue is very important into reviving this idea and make them relate to the past. And of course, this will enhance and strengthen social engagement within community, because scouts have been socially engaged in every major event in the country, and people trust the scouts. And of course, the scouts with the students will try to create a social engagement movement within communities for and advocating for this unique heritage and protected. And of course, the community heritage assets are better known and better managed. Of course, if you relate to your past and if you are socially engaged, then you will know and better manage your assets, which means create richness from your own monuments and from your own museum that has been abandoned. We can reopen it, find funds to make it work again or open again, and so on and so on. And this actually happened in many cities in the south, where scouts help local communities take care of some monuments and some museums and help restore them. And of course, the enhanced interest in communities' heritage by the local civic society organizations. Of course, the Scouts are known for forging partnerships with civil society organizations and, of course, trying to open the door to more specified heritage local civic society and help them with training or programs or partners. And of course, enhance wider interest in communities' heritage by getting funds from NGOs. And this is actually a speciality for the Scouts to get funds from other partners or NGOs to these local civic society organizations and try to do good and help others with this wide network and make it accessible to them. This is dialogue sessions in Tataouine University, May 13th, 2022. So Tataouine is in the south of the country. And here in the picture we see students sitting down and AFD members or dialogue conductors from the Ambassadors for Dialogue Project, and with the help of the coordinators, the regional coordinators of TOURATH Project, conducted the dialogue sessions at the university about threats of modernization on national identity, because we saw that the monuments and sites in Tataouine are under threats from new hotels and new resorts, and it's a threat that is like they can see the threat. So the students were so happy to have this dialogue sessions and speak up their minds, and they went to the length of being members of the Scouts or being members of other civil society organizations that would work on protecting the heritage. And for those who doesn't know where Tataouine is or what is Tataouine, so Tataouine named the gateway to the desert, and it's located in the south of Tunisia and known for its qusur. So the qusur are the buildings in front of you in this picture, and they are cave dwellings made by Berber inhabitants centuries ago. So these dwellings are there before the Carthaginians and the Phoenicians and so on and so on. And it's a very rich city where Berber language is still active in the city along with Arabic, so the two get along very well. And you may notice that Tataouine is the name used in Star Wars as a planet, and actually Star Wars was filmed in Tataouine in one of these cave dwellings. So it's a very historic and valuable city. So moving on to the last component of TOURATH Project, which is the Heritage Merit Badges. And as I said before, it's a reward kind of worthy of the Scouts during soft summer excavation camps. And why we call them soft summer excavation camps? Because it's mainly field visit for young Scouts aged between 6 and 9 or 12 to 15 to some of the sites near the camps. and mainly in coastal areas like Hammamet, where they visit Puput, in Qlibia, where they visit Burj al Burj, in Sousse, where they visit the Medina, and in Mustir, of course, the Medina and Sur. So at least 2,000 participants joined these camps, summer camps, of course. So the leaders in charge of the summer camps worked in accordance with the regional TOURATH coordinators and with local INP bureaus to present the sites, delegate the small task for the children in order to get the merit badges. So the merit badges, just a motivational rewarding tradition destined to the scouts, not just Tunisians, but all scouts, for all different age groups. Later on, I'll show you the list of requirements and how many badges can you get according to your rank or according to your division within the scouts. So they need to pass a list of requirements during and after the visit in order to get the badge as a reward. So getting the award at the end of the camp, it's done in a ceremony, and you can see the scouts jumping like happily to get that because it's an honor to have these badges like soldiers will get Purple Hearts or something like that. So it's the same. They love it, and they work hard to get it. And the merit badges are very important, just like the dialogue sessions or the excavation camps. So we try to mix up all the components to get more results and being able to get more targets and reach more targets than we want, than we wish for. And of course, the excavation camps during summertime or summer camps are soft, so they're not really messy because children or young scouts want to enjoy summer, but also we give them learning while having fun. And this is also a way of doing things with the scouts. So on the left you can see a scout wearing proudly the merit badges of Tunisian language or Tunisian dialect, and on the right you can see one of the leaders, national team of TOURATH, monitoring the young women at the age of 15, doing the list of requirements to get the merit badges. So here we have the list of requirements for each merit badge according to the group age. So this was printed and handed out to the scout groups, to the regional coordinators of TOURATH, and to everyone who is interested in it. So so that the the merit badges will be handed out during scout events and TOURATH events, of course. And on the top right we have the Cubs and the Brownies. On the bottom we have the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. And on the top left we have the Rovers and the Girl Guides. As you can see, we have different types of merit badges. We have merit badges about tangible heritage, and we have also merit badges about intangible heritage, like pottery, cuisine, languages, artisanal activities, clothing, architecture. So we have like different types of merit badges that I will be interested to get from the scouts. So in a minute I'm going to show you the major sites targeted by the Tunisian scouts through Project TOURATH. So here we have Outika, and it's located 32 kilometers northeast of Tunis, the capital, in Benzat region, so in the top of Tunisia. Founded by the Tyrians in 1101 BC, it was built 287 years before the founding of Carthage. And it used to be a maritime city, which means the sea used to be crossing her. With a very large harbor and very commercial harbor, and for more and it covers more than 104 hectares with 35 monuments. So this is Kirkwen, and it's located on a cliff at the tip of the Gabon between Kelibia and Hawaria. So it's a very strategic city. So it was founded, so this is a Punic village founded in the 6th century BC. And one of the characteristics of this city is the only Phoenicio-Punic city to have survived. It remained abandoned for 25 centuries after it was burned and deserted in the 3rd century BC. So this is Douga. This is the third place that we have full access to, or you can call it Thuga. So located on the northwest region of Tunisia in Beja, perched on the summit of a hill at an altitude of 571 meters. It was the first capital of the Median Kingdom, and over 2,000 Libyan, Punic, bilingual Greek, and above all Latin inscriptions were found in this city. It's very, very beautiful, rich, and well preserved, but also under threat, of course. So this is another city that we have the full access to, and it's called Neapolis. So it's located on the coast, 2 kilometers southwest of the city of Nablus. Founded in the 5th century BC, and the name Neapolis is a Greek name meaning a new city, and it is as old as Carthage. This is Sufaitola. So this is in the south of the country, 33 kilometers in the west of Gasserine city, and 264 kilometers to Tunis. So it was founded in the 1st century AD, and it's one of Africa's best preserved ancient Roman cities. And we can see the Byzantine era basilicas are still standing. And why they gave us Sufaitola, because Sufaitola is under immense threat, not by just nature or excessive development of human activities, no, but it's under threat of robbing rocks, pillars by the citizens, and especially youth, because when you have like a poor city, zero awareness, and no one is advocating for this site, then everything will be permitted. And that's why we have to do something about it, and we have to work hard to create a change that will help this site be protected. So here we have Tubour Majus, and it's a site located in northern Tunisia, about 60 kilometers southwest of Tunis. So the city existed before the arrival of the Romans. It was before Berbers and even Carthaginians. Later founded as a Roman veteran colony by Augustus in 27 BC. So this is like Udna. It's a colony, and you can find 3 layers of history beneath. So this one needs also protection and needs preservation, and that's why the INP, or the agency, gave us full access to it. And the characteristics of this site is it connects Carthage to the desert or the Sahara. So it used to be like a channel to commercial routes that connects Carthage and the tribes in the desert. So thank you for watching, and I hope this presentation was as pleasant as I would like it to be. And here are some pictures taken by the regional coordinators of TOURATH in different regions of the country, and you can see tangible and intangible heritage. And thank you very much, and see you soon.